49ers, currently the 7th seed right now, but there's two, maybe even three teams to keep an eye out on that could possibly sneak into the playoffs. And I'm going to explain why I think there's very little room for error for the 49ers to make the playoffs.
It's football time.
Alrighty, what's going on? Welcome back to the All Around Sports Podcast, Sports, everything on the channel. I'm host Antonio. Today, we're talking about the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers, of course, are still waiting to play their game on Sunday against the Cleveland Browns, which, of course, the 49ers are currently the 7th seed at the moment. But they have not one, not two, but three teams that could possibly be trailing them for a playoff spot, including the Detroit Lions, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Carolina Panthers, who they've already beat. But I'm going to explain why I believe there's very little room for error for the 49ers, because I don't think they can afford to lose a game the rest of the season, because their playoff hopes are that thin. So I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Before we do, if you guys enjoy this video, do me a favor, smash the button down below, subscribe if you haven't already. For now, let's talk about the 49ers. The 49ers. Of course, the Cleveland Browns game is the last game before the 49ers bye week. I know that. But why I believe there's very little room for error is, let's just say you lose this game to the Browns. I'm not expecting. I have to not expect to win this game. Then you drop down to 8-5, which could give the opportunity for either the Lions or the Cowboys to catch up. Remember, Cowboys have been undefeated since the trade deadline. They just beat the Kansas City Chiefs at their house. And as I've said, if you don't beat Kansas City, you're not going to win a Super Bowl. I've said it a few times. I haven't said it in a long time, but I'm going to say it now. But if we look at some of the other teams that are trailing the 49ers, we look at the Detroit Lions. Of course, Amon-Ra St. Brown went down, so that could possibly hurt them. Maybe they wind up missing the playoffs. But the Cowboys, they're a team to watch right now, because guess who they play next week? The Detroit Lions. So, and the Cowboys, they got the easiest stretch between them and the 49ers. Let me go over the Cowboys' little remaining schedule. They got the Lions up next, then they got the Vikings, then they got the Chargers, the Commanders, and the Giants. If they beat the Lions, I can see them winning the rest of their games. And if we look at the 49ers schedule, theirs is a little bit more tricky. Of course, they got the Browns this week, which, as I mentioned on a few occasions, but then they go on their bye week, but they should hopefully get some rest to get some more guys healthy. Then you have an easy win against the Tennessee Titans, or maybe. Then you got the Colts, Bears, and Seahawks to finish off the year. Those are three currently 8-3 football teams. Colts have been really good and have been found ways to get beat. As we saw from Kansas City last week, we saw them be able to force Daniel Jones to beat them through the air. We were able to see that. Then, as far as the Bears goes, of course, they played today against the Philadelphia Eagles, as I'm currently making this. Then, the most important game is the final week of the season against the Seattle Seahawks. I've said this for a while. I'm going to say it again. Do not be in a win-in situation in week 18. Because if you are, then Seattle has a likely chance to go on the road and beat you. Last year, they beat you in your house in a moment like this, where your season was on the line, and then boom, Seattle knocked you off. You cannot allow that to happen again if you're Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy. I know that Purdy's been playing respectfully well since he's come back, but if those three interceptions happen against the Cleveland Browns, if they lose that game and Purdy throws three interceptions, there's going to be a lot of concern in San Francisco. I'm saying that right now, because if we look at the playoff teams that are currently outside, we're looking at the Detroit Lions. When they're healthy, they can be a good team. And then the Cowboys, they're undefeated since the trade deadline. Carolina's in a bit of an up and down team. One day game they look good, they can beat the Green Bay Packers as 2 touchdown underdogs. And then the other game they just looked terrible against the New Orleans Saints. But the 49ers have very little room for error. Because if they lose 2 games at least, and the Cowboys went out, they're losing the playoff spot to the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm telling you all this right now. I've said it for a while. I want the 49ers fall to be off a curb. I want their fall to be off a dang rooftop. I want it to be off a cliff. And the funniest thing in the world for me would be 2 things. One, if a division rival won the Super Bowl, which would either be Seattle or the Rams, which I'm not expecting Seattle to, just to keep in mind. Then number 2 would be if the Cowboys made the playoffs ahead of you. Think about it. The Cowboys just traded away Micah Parsons. After that, everyone thought their hope was lost. If you lose your playoff spot to the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas freaking Cowboys, I will laugh so hard that anyone in my area could hear me from a block away. I'm telling y'all that right now. If the Cowboys make the playoffs in place of where the 49ers are right now, not that I'm saying that's going to happen, not that I'm saying that it won't, but if that happens, I will laugh so freaking hard that everyone in my area can hear me from a block away, maybe even down to my river nearby. But 49ers, there's a lot of pressure on Purdy right now because Purdy, I've still felt the reason that they missed the playoffs was on him last year. I still believe that. Y'all can have your opinion. But if Purdy continues to turn over the ball, he only has 1 game that he hasn't thrown a single pick. That was against the Arizona Cardinals, a garbage team. Congratulations, you didn't throw an interception against a terrible team. But if you throw either 3 interceptions against the Cleveland Browns, if you throw them against the Colts, if you throw them against the Bears or the Seahawks, you're not winning that game. And if you lose 2 games and the Dallas Cowboys win out, you will miss the playoffs because of the Dallas Cowboys. So do not let that happen, or else there's going to be a lot of talk going into the offseason. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys think there's very little room for error for the 49ers? Let me know in the comments what you guys think down below. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, do me a big favor. Smash the button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, I'll see you on the next one. Ciao for now.